And then go ahead, Megan, then Troy.
Hey, Miss Megan.
Hey, Greg, how are you?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Good, good. I've been, on and off, kind of trying to, get into my right brain more and get intuition going. And I think probably almost every class, there's something in there that is supposed to help with that. And I've healed so many things and I'm in such a different place, but I don't see a big difference with that. And I don't want to be so hyper left-brained.
Sure.
I wanna tap into those other things. Do you have a specific recommendation for me? Something I could do? Hopefully,
So,
15 minutes a day,
did you do the fear class? I'm just curious. Okay. And when you did the fear class, how did that treat the right brain stuff?
I didn't notice anything. I actually didn't even get sleepy for some reason. I don't know. One of these, what's wrong with me? Everybody else is this, and I'm over here. I don't know.
Do you ever feel like a little bit like hyper vigilant, like you're waiting for the next shoe to drop or like a fire to put out or?
Not a lot these days. I was really, really, really hyper vigilant when I first took my first plant prana class, and those early classes like really knocked it out.
Kind of knocked it out.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, and did you happen to do the brainwave psychological thing, or do you have the brainwaves?
I have two of them. I have
Which one?
theta and gamma.
Let's have you work theta. Like the other one that I would probably have you work would be delta and then to work it on the arms. But let me even find you like a single oil that you can use for that, and let's just see if that helps. So give me just a second here, and what was the one before that? Alchemy for materialization. Was that the weekend before? Brainwaves.
Oh, brainwaves and materialization. I took that the first time you taught it.
Okay.
So I have that hit, but it wasn't like all the brainwave blends.
Give me just a sec here. I think that's what I call 6 on my thing. Yep. So okay, so do like tarragon or rue, petitgrain, and really focus on the arms and the legs, not even necessarily the joints, but like, explore the upper arms, explore the elbows, explore the forearms and the hands, and then go down through the legs in the same way, and do that for several times. And because part of the issue is for us to really go like deeper into like the more intuitive mind, there is like certain kind of like agitations that we have to calm down in our physiology. And it usually has to do with like, past conditioning, past things that have happened. And some of that is in the arms and legs, which are extensions of the basic chakra. Like it's tied to like defensive movements, like running and fighting and, doing whatever, just fending something off. And so if we can lower the agitation and the tension in the arms and legs, not just like a muscular tension, but almost like a neurological tension, it allows for the brain to function in a little bit of a different way. And so I would go a little bit deeper on just really relaxing the arms and legs, because even if you scan like most people and you start going, okay, agitation in these different parts of the body, and then you get to the arms and the legs, like the arms and legs, you see the most agitation usually.
Yeah.
Different things in the jaw, but like the jaw can be a whole nother ball of wax, but tension in the arms and legs, if you can get that down, it can be a game changer. And you can even use something like vetiver or spikenard to like keep calming them down. It's not quite the same, but it's in the same vein. But if you keep doing that for a little while, it starts to become easier and easier just to go in that kind of more alpha, theta, delta states, which are more relaxed states, which then start kind of going into the more intuitive side of the mind. Now, this weekend, we're coming up on the Lymphatic 5 class, which is, it's a free class. It's a one-dayer. And part of what we're going to do is we're going to address sleep. But part of what we're going to do is we're going to address things that kind of prevent you from going deeper in sleep. And the things that prevent you from going deeper into sleep are usually also things that prevent you from going deeper into the intuitive mind, because for most people, that's where we access it. And some of it is we'll talk about these mechanisms, we'll be talking about them through like the first half of the day, but it's this like certain kind of agitation that it's not really emotional, it's not really mental, it's not really like it's physiological, but I take it a step further. It's primal. Like it's really a primal thing. Like it's in the unconscious, or at least in the subconscious, but it's just these tensions, and it's usually from just the crap that's happened to us. Like somebody was mean, somebody did this, somebody yelled at me, I almost got hit by a car. You just start going down the list, and it's like every time it just cranks up this notch of this like primal agitation, and the body never shuts it down. Like it just never does. So we're manually going to go through step by step and unwind it. And it's like, if I remember right, it's like 11 steps. Like it's substantial. It's like 10 or 11 steps. And we're just going to go through and work it. We've been talking about versions of this for a while. Like we're gonna use things like myrrh, we're gonna use things like galbanum, we're gonna use things like helichrysum. You're gonna be using a lot of the things that we've always been using, but very systematically to unwind this. And after you do, like if you were to stand back and look at the person after they've gone through and done this, like at first you just go, yeah, I feel okay. Like, I feel mellow. I don't really feel that different. And then you kind of lay down, the agitation just starts seeping out of you. And it's not like reliving something. It's just this weird tension that happened. So I think I even put a little asterisk when we did the flyer for this. I blew my shoulder out. What was that, like 4 years ago? Like 4 years ago, I fell on ice with a, 50-pound bag of salt on my shoulder, and I just totally blew my arm out of socket. And it's been borderline surgical a couple of times, like it starts to like cut off the nerves in the fingers and the whole bit. And I get the inflammation down and it's better again. But there's always like not very great range of motion, and it always just kind of hurts. But, I'm stubborn. I don't want to have a surgery just to be having them. I've already had too many, and, I'm trying to prevent it. So, there's some torn muscles up in the chest and in the shoulder itself. And, I did some exercises, kind of compensated for it, but it was always there. You know what I mean? And I just did that whole protocol. Like I've always done pieces, but I did the whole protocol at once. Just one time, my shoulder feels better. It's the best it's felt since that injury. And a lot of times I can't tell the difference between the two shoulders. And the range of motion increased probably by 30% and stayed. It wasn't like 30% for a day or two and went back. It stayed good. And so even like injury sites will cause this kind of primal agitation in the body. And I would say I would include childbirth in this. It will cause like a kind of agitation in the body that your body just doesn't shut off. And so I would do the arms and legs thing. And then, the protocol for what we're talking about this coming up weekend, you probably have all the oils for it. It's like, there's nothing that's like, oh, this is new, or this is this. A lot of it is just bread and butter oils, but used very systematically to go through and unwind this primal aspect. And I think that can help as well.
Yeah, it's on my calendar. I have to step out a couple times for some
Yeah.
family stuff.
Well,
but,
there's always the recording too. Like
so,
you can
yeah,
catch up
yeah.
with
I mean, and when I first took the first couple of classes I took, I mean, Tarragon and Rue were like my world. Like,
yeah, no joke. Huh?
they changed
They're
my
still my
life.
world.
Like, yeah, I mean, so if there's just something else to do with those, it's probably gonna be good for me because my body just needed those so badly a few years ago. So that makes total sense. Another thing, since we're kind of on the brain anyway,
Yes.
my memory, you know, since the kids, and you already heard this a million times, and my sleep deprivation, it's just still not good. And I love the sleep and memory class, and I have misplaced my original booklet where I had some like handwritten notes on some of the things. And so, of course, I don't know like which, you know, if I do the whole memory thing, it just takes a really long time. So I also don't know which problem I have or which, you know, main area to focus on. But there was a protocol I wanted to ask you. I have a newer booklet, but I don't remember which one it was. And it had to do with like taking in information. Like I'm looking around my room and I'm able to like see and observe what's there better. Like,
Right. So like going back to the brainwaves, like that would be a lot more like the alpha state. So you want to be a little bit more relaxed, but not relaxed like where you're starting to really go out there. You know, it's almost like a level of relaxation that allows you to take information in and process it, but not be like sleepy or you know, dreamy or something like that. And so things that can take you into that realm. Well, if we just look at alpha right
or
here.
if you, or if you just happen to remember the oil and pattern, because it,
Hard for me to
on.
remember what it was. I'd have to go look it up, but
Yeah.
Letty might be able to do it. But
or if
like
somebody can, I just
Valerian would be good, Spikenard would be good, Vetiver would be good. Because part of it is that sometimes we're a little bit distracted in like that fight flight thinking or something's gonna happen, the shoe's gonna drop. I'm you know, like I always will notice that like I start to become like hyper vigilant of the surroundings, or like way like little things that are potentially agitating you know, in the environment. And when that happens, the tendency is to not remember things as well. And so, you know, because sympathetic activity is tied to the formation of your memories, you know, so those action aspects of that part of your nervous system, yes, they're fight flight, but also they help form the memory. And if you're not taking in that information in that moment, it's like the memories just don't even form. There's like nothing to recall. And so that's what I would say target, you know.
that's what it kind of seems like my problem is. Like
Because
I'm
with brain
putting things
fatigue-
away, and like 2 hours later, it's like, where's my thing? And I had just put it somewhere and I can't remember where I put it. Like,
Yeah.
not paying attention.
I would shoot for Vetiver there. Because the thing with Vetiver is, or Ruskus, either one, but Vetiver and Ruskus they're very calming, they're very soothing, and they get you into your feet. You know what I mean? Where like when we're kind of in that hypervigilant state, or we're a little bit, you know, we're kind of more like up here, but we're not really in our body. Like we're in our head and maybe our chest, and that's about it. And so the Vetiver just really brings you all the way down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
So you could even rub a little bit on your Ming Men. You could rub a little bit on the base of the skull, but a lot of inhalation. And a fun one for me is I'll take a drop or two and I rub it into the temples. And it's just literally like, oh, let's see how this is. And I do it. And then I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Like,
Vetiver
you know,
on the feet just does something to me. It's
which
so
one?
strong. Vetiver on the feet.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
I feel it immediately. It's
Yeah.
really strong. Yeah.
So just get really good friends with Vetiver for a little bit as well.
Okay, let's try
Yeah.
that. Cool.
You
Thank
could
you.
even take it internally if you wanted. Like I
Okay.
did that for a while. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
And then go ahead